To convert a repeating decimal to a fraction, let's first set the repeating decimal equal to some variable. So let's say x equals this repeating decimal, 0.7 repeating. Step 2, we're going to multiply each side of that equation by a power of 10 equal to the number of repeating digits. So in this repeating decimal, how many digits repeat? You should say 1, right? That one digit, 7, repeats. And so we're going to multiply by 10 to the first power, or by 10. And remember, multiplying by 10 is the same as moving the decimal one place to the right. So let's multiply both sides of the equation by 10. 10 times x is 10x. On the right side, if I multiply by 10, it's the same as moving the decimal one place to the right. So let's move it one place to the right, and I would have 7.777 repeating, so 7 repeating. Step 3, I subtract that first equation, the repeating decimal, from the second equation. So I need to subtract this equation from the new equation, 10x equals 7.7 repeating. So I subtract the left side by x, and I subtract the right side by x. And x is this. X is 0.7 repeating. So I'm subtracting the equation by the same thing. I'm subtracting the left side by x and the right side by x. When I do that, 10x minus x, that leaves me with just 9x. And here I have 0.7 repeating minus 0.7 repeating. Well, what happens there is if you take something and subtract that same something, they cancel one another out, right? It's 0. So all you're left with is 7 minus 0, which is 7. The fourth and final step is to solve for x and simplify. Make sure your fraction is in simplest form. So to solve for x here, we're going to divide by the coefficient. We're going to divide by 9. Of course, we do that on both sides. Those 9s simplify to 1 times x, which is x, and x equals this fraction, 7 over 9, which is simplest form. So what we found here is that 0.7 repeating, that's decimal form. In fraction form, that is equal to 7/9. One more example, we have 0.27 repeating. Step 1, let's set that decimal equal to some variable. So some variable x equal to that repeating decimal, 0.27 repeating. Step 2, I need to multiply each side of that equation by a power of 10 equal to the number of repeating digits. So how many digits do you see repeating? I see 1, 2 digits repeating. So I need to multiply both sides by 10 to the power of 2, or 10 squared. And we know that 10 squared is 100, right? So multiply the left and the right side of that equation by 100. And remember, multiplying by 100 is the same as moving the decimal 2 places to the right. So 100 times x is simply 100x. And here, if I multiply by 100, I move the decimal 2 places to the right, I get 27.27 repeating. Okay, after I do that, step 3, I subtract the first equation, the repeating decimal, from the second equation. So I subtract this side by x, and I subtract this side by x. And x is this. X is 0.27 repeating. Okay, so I have 100x minus x. That gives me 99x. Here, these 0.27 repeatings, remember, they cancel one another out. And you have 27 minus 0, which is 27. Fourth and final step is to solve for x. Divide both sides by that coefficient of 99. Those 99 simplify, and so you have x equal 27 over 99. Is this simplest form? Well, I know 27 and 99 are both divisible by 3, and in fact they're actually both divisible by 9. If I divide both the numerator and the denominator by 9, 27 divided by 9 is 3, and 99 divided by 9 is 11. So in simplest form, I get 3/11. So what I found here is that 0.27 repeating, and that's decimal form. In fraction form, in simplest fraction form, it would be 3/11. Try this one on your own. Example 3, convert 0.5 repeating to a decimal.